You're sitting on the edge of your bed, staring blankly at the floor. The room is perfectly quiet, but your mind is deafening. She just told you. The person you laugh with, the person you share your deepest secrets with, the person you sleep next to every night, just casually mentioned she's starting an OnlyFans. You smiled. You nodded. You said you were supportive, because that's what a modern, understanding partner is supposed to do, right? You want her to be independent. You want her to be empowered. But the moment she left the room, a heavy, suffocating weight dropped into your chest. The air suddenly felt thin, and honestly, you haven't been able to breathe right since. Why does it feel like a massive betrayal when she hasn't technically done anything wrong? Let's talk about that feeling. The one you're too ashamed to admit to your friends, and terrified to admit to her. You scroll through social media and see everyone preaching about sex work as real work, about owning your body, about ultimate financial freedom. Society tells you that if you have a problem with this, you are the problem. You are insecure. You are controlling. You are a relic of the past. And logically, you try to force yourself to agree. You tell yourself it's just pictures. It's just pixels on a screen. It's a business transaction. But logic doesn't stop the sudden physical reaction in your gut. Logic doesn't stop the adrenaline spike when her phone lights up at 2 a.m. Every time she locks her screen, your mind goes to dark, agonizing places. Who is looking at her right now? What are they saying to her? What is she saying back to keep them paying? What parts of her, the parts you thought belonged only to your shared world, are now available for $9.99 a month?
You start overanalyzing everything. Is she dressing differently? Is she spending more time taking selfies than looking at you when you speak? You feel like you're losing your mind. You feel possessive, jealous, and then immediately disgusted with yourself for feeling possessive and jealous. It's a toxic, isolating loop. If you speak up, you risk being labeled toxic and unsupportive. If you stay quiet, you are quietly eating yourself alive, day by day. But here is what is actually happening in your brain. And you need to hear this. This isn't just about simple jealousy. It's about the fundamental psychology of human intimacy and boundaries. Human beings are biologically wired for exclusivity in deep romantic bonds. It's not just a social construct. It's how our nervous systems have survived, built trust, and found safety for thousands of years. When we fall in love, we create a shared, private universe, a safe harbor. Intimacy isn't just physical touch. Intimacy is the profound feeling of having access to a part of someone that the rest of the world is locked out of. It's the secret language you share. It's the vulnerability of closed doors. When that private boundary is suddenly monetized, packaged, and open to thousands of strangers, your brain perceives it as a massive, existential threat to the bond. Your primal nervous system does not understand the modern concept of digital content creation. To your nervous system, the sanctuary has been breached. The walls of your private universe have been torn down. You aren't insecure. Your internal alarm system is ringing because the very foundation of your shared reality just shifted completely without your permission. Pause for a second and really think about this. Is it really just about the photos? Or is it about the emotional energy that is slowly being redirected away from you? We naturally tie a massive part of our self-worth to how special we feel to our partner. We want to be the exception. If hundreds of anonymous men can pay a small fee to see the exact same things you see, to whisper the exact same kind of compliments you whisper, what makes your position in her life special anymore? Are you just the guy who takes out the trash, runs errands, and splits the rent, while the internet gets the fantasy? That is the silent question haunting you. The fear of replaceability. The fear of becoming ordinary in the eyes of the person you love most. And there's something even deeper hiding beneath that fear. Something most people never realize until it slowly destroys the relationship from the inside out. Look at how this dynamic usually plays out in real life. A guy tries his hardest to be the cool boyfriend. He swallows his discomfort. Maybe he even tries to help her set up the lighting or takes the photos, desperately trying to reframe it as a team effort. He ignores the knot in his stomach because she's suddenly making more money in a week than he makes in a month. But slowly, subtly, the dynamic begins to rot. Quiet dinner dates turn into content opportunities. Intimate, spontaneous moments in the bedroom suddenly feel like staged performances. She spends hours replying to messages from men who genuinely believe they have a chance with her. She justifies it. She calls it building a parasocial relationship. She calls it customer service. But emotional energy is finite. The energy she spends validating strangers online is energy she no longer has for him. He starts pulling away. He becomes emotionally cold, maybe a little sarcastic. He stops initiating intimacy because he feels like he's competing with 1,000 ghosts. She senses his distance, feels judged, and calls him unsupportive. They argue constantly, but they aren't actually fighting about OnlyFans. They are fighting about the ghost of intimacy that used to live between them. They are mourning the death of their private world. Which brings us to a twist, a realization that might shift your entire perspective tonight. You cannot control her. You cannot police her body, her choices, her career, or her phone. If she wants to do this, it is 100% her right to do so. And if you try to force her to stop, you will inevitably become the controlling villain in her story. Resentment will build, and the relationship will shatter anyway. But, and this is the most crucial part of this entire video, she also cannot police your boundaries. In modern dating, we have somehow confused being a supportive partner with completely abandoning our own emotional needs. We have been conditioned to think that if we have a boundary, we are somehow backwards or oppressive. That is a lie. You are allowed to say, I respect your right to do whatever you want with your body and your life. But this dynamic is not something I can have in my romantic relationship. Walking away from a situation that destroys your peace of mind doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you an insecure, jealous little boy. Sometimes acknowledging that you are no longer compatible is the ultimate heartbreaking act of self-respect. Take a moment and ask yourself a brutally honest question. Are you staying because you genuinely accept and embrace this new reality? Or are you staying because you are absolutely terrified of losing her, so you are willing to set yourself on fire just to keep her warm? Love should never require you to constantly suppress your own nervous system. It shouldn't require you to pretend you are completely okay when you are quietly breaking inside every single day. Your feelings are valid. The ache in your chest is real, and it is justified. You are not a bad person for wanting a private, deeply exclusive bond. You are just a human being seeking safety, trust, and sanctuary in a world that increasingly monetizes absolutely everything. If the cost of being with her is your own sanity and peace of mind, then the price is simply too high. Take a deep breath. Look at the situation for exactly what it is right now, not the romanticized version of what it used to be, and not what you desperately wish it was. You have a profoundly difficult choice to make, and it starts with finally being honest with yourself.